everybody, Syntax77 here, just hanging out down here in my gear basement, getting packed up actually for a backpacking trip I'm about to take up in Vermont. Just going to run up there real quick, have a little fun on the trails. But, you know, when I go out adventuring or just enjoying the outdoors, I don't always necessarily carry everything I need on my back. Sometimes I carry everything I need in, well, in my case, in a Jeep Wrangler. I bet a lot of you out there might do the same. So today I'm actually going to look at a non-backpacking piece of gear and more of a car camping piece of gear. It's right here. You can see that in frame. It's the GCI Outdoor Slim Fold Cook Station. They actually make two versions of this. This is the smaller of the two. The other one is called, I believe, the Master Cook Station. It's about four-ish pounds heavier and obviously a bigger footprint. This guy I chose for the reasons I'll go over. And as you can see, it packs down, hence the name, Slim Fold. Pretty slim. It's about 4 inches tall there, about 35 inches long. Width is 21-ish. And it's just a hair under 19 pounds, 18.88 actually. Now GCI did send this to me for evaluation and testing, so take that as you will. But basically I'm just going to show you kind of all the features of this, so anybody out there who's never gotten a table like this and maybe you're thinking about it, well, you can know what the features are and make your own decision. Cross compare, do your own research, right? So first things first, this thing folds out, and it folds out pretty easy. Now in my case, my primary intended use for this was car camping or beach outings for my Jeep Wrangler, and it actually fits perfectly in my Wrangler. It's a 4-door in the back cargo area without putting the seats down or anything. I can fit it either sideways, or I can even get it in long ways, and it fits. The gate shuts and everything, so that is nice for me. It doesn't take up much room at all, and it is only 19 pounds, so it's not killing your gas mileage too much either. And what I really have enjoyed this for, because I've had this pretty much all summer now, I like it for driving on the beach. We drive on the beach. We're actually down in Delaware, where the only way you're allowed to drive on the beach is if you are fishing. But while you're fishing, there's nothing saying that you can't hang out, relax, and have a good beach day with your family and friends as well. So that's what I do, and I found it pretty easy to just pull it right out with the beach chairs. I pop it up, it folds out pretty quickly, and the way that happens is pretty simple. It just kind of accordions out into that first stage, and there is a wire rack on the bottom for storage, and that also adds some support, I would imagine. Then it flips up, and you've got your two aluminum kind of main shelving areas in the middle. We'll make sure to pop the one up first because the other one's designed to go underneath of it, and that locks the center of the unit together. And then you have 4 separate tables that all swing out from the left and the right, and those lock into place as well. Also worth mentioning about these fold-out side tables, they don't have any structural necessity, if you will. So depending on your space, if you don't want to fold out all of or any of the side tables, you really don't have to. It's optional. The locking system's pretty simple. It's got some tabs on there, so you can just push them into place and they lock up pretty good. And to take it down, obviously, is the same way. Just use your thumb on that tab and it'll break down. If you're wondering about the stability of these extra kind of wing tabletop areas, personally I often bring a 2.5 gallon kind of brick, if you will, of water, which is, if you do the math, about 20 pounds, and that sits on there no problem. So I don't know what the actual, failure point would be, but a 20-pound brick of water, it doesn't phase this thing at all. So for common cooking and organizing tasks, I don't think that's really going to be an issue with weight on these. They maintain stability pretty well. The whole body is made of aluminum. I believe it is a powder coat finish on the actual rails and whatnot. The main center section is a nice aluminum kind of slatted look there, and that area with the aluminum slats is actually perfectly sized for your standard 2-burner stove. In my case, it's like a Coleman Classic guy, right? So any stove like that is going to work just fine. And you can put your fuel bottle beside it, or if you have one of those conversion kits to run a hose, you could certainly put it on the bottom wire rack down there as well if you had a longer hose set up. So that works well if you want to cook while you're out there as well. Or in my case, if you're out there fishing, this makes a really nice spot to prep up your bait, get organized. I keep my coolers on the bottom, one for food for humans and one for food for fish. And that wire rack does lock into place nice. Once you are set up, it's not going anywhere. It's not going to collapse on you, in my experience at least. Now moving back to those fold out plastic tables, the 4 of them, if you take a closer look at those, you will notice each one does have 2 kind of cup holder shapes on there, as well as 3 drain holes, so there won't be any condensation buildup, etc. You're also going to see 2 hooks on each one, which I'll get to in a minute, but one of them in particular has kind of a length of shock cord running along it that's removable on one side. You could hang a dish towel from that or anything you want, get creative, but the main purpose for this, which is pretty cool, is it actually perfectly fits a paper towel roll. So there's your paper towel holder / dispenser. You can slide it on and off of there really easily. Keep yourself clean and organized. Speaking of clean and organized, the larger version of this that I mentioned, the Master Cook Station, is a bit bigger, but it does have a whole kind of third section where there is a collapsible camp sink, and there's also a telescoping pole that you could hang a probably like a shower bag from to simulate kind of a faucet experience. For me personally, I wanted something that was a bit smaller of a footprint, and I don't mind just kind of cleaning up on the side. Like I said, I do have that 2.5 gallon brick of water that I put there. I just run water out of that, and you can wash up, you know, a light amount of dishes and whatnot. But if you do have bigger needs, you're cooking more elaborate meals, you have more dishes, you might want to check that version out as well. It looks basically almost identical to this system. It's just that they've added that additional third section that has the sink kind of area on it. Going back to those hooks, obvious thing for that, right, would be hanging utensils from that. You can totally do that. You could also get your own shock cord and fashion up more lines if you would like. That would be a pretty simple project. Another thing that you may not notice right away, but is pretty cool, you'll notice there's kind of a little divot there, and that is actually designed to hold a wine glass. Or if you're drying your wine glass, I suppose you could hang it upside down as well. No problem. Some wine glasses do work better than others in my experience, so you might want to just experiment before you go home. But most of my wine glasses, except for one, fit perfectly in there. So you can have a little grape juice while you're on the beach or at the campsite, depending on your situation. The rounded tubular frame does have some plastic end caps on there that does square off the bottom so that it is more stable. And once it's time to break down camp, real simple. Like I said earlier, you just hit all of those tabs on each of the pop-out tables. Gonna fold those in so you get all those out of the way first. Once you get those done, swing down the main aluminum center tabletop. Swing those out of the way. Pull straight up on the wire frame in the middle. And at that point, the whole thing will collapse down, just like we had it before. On one side, there is a nice little handle here. Just a simple piece of webbing strap reinforced with a little handle material on it. Makes it real easy to carry around. At 19 pounds, this thing really, it's not much of a chore to walk around with this. One-hand it, throw it in the Jeep, or even the back of your Prius probably, because this thing's pretty small, and you'll be good to go. I do enjoy it. It's been working well. It's got some minor scuffs on the plastic here and there, just from me using it with cutting boards and various things out there when we're on the beach and fishing and whatnot. But for the most part, it's holding up well, and I'm quite enjoying it. It's small enough to throw in the trunk of your car or the back of your pickup truck or whatever. It's not going to take up much space. Heck, if you're a really active outdoor person, you could probably get away with keeping this in the back of your vehicle all the time, or at least all season long for the summer or whatnot, depending where you live, and it wouldn't even really bother you. Price point is decent. Prices change all the time, so I won't do an actual quote, but I'll just say well under $100 you can easily get one of these. I'm going to continue using mine, I know that for sure. I'm going to have it on some future adventures, the ones that don't involve carrying everything on my back, which reminds me I have to get back to packing for that, because I've got Vermont and then I got Colorado. I'm on a heck of a run. Just got back from Utah. I'm having all kinds of fun. But enough about that. Right now we're talking about car camping and the GCI Slim Fold Cook Station. I think we pretty much covered all the bases, so I'm going to get back to packing for my trip. Please feel free to share in the comment section below anybody that has already used this, any tips, tricks, feedback that you have of your own. Feel free to share that, as well as any other advice maybe that someone has out there for car camping, organization, and cooking in general. I always love to read that feedback. So there you go, the GCI Slim Fold Cook Station. Till next time, I'm Syntax77, and you have fun out there.